saying that at this point they're going through some housekeeping. Judicially speaking, that they're going through some motions and last minute, I guess, paperwork. Robert James joining us again, former DeKalb County prosecutor. Housekeeping needs to be tedious because there are appeals on the table, so they need to make sure that everything is done correctly, and taking this extra time is, I guess, an important part of that process.
Well, nobody wants to do this twice, right? It's not pleasant. I've had to do that before. And so no one wants to do it twice. There's been an incredible amount of work that's been put in, by both sides, a lot of expense. And so, ultimately it's better to be safe than sorry, measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, no doubt. I know that as people are watching this case so closely, it's important to do that because of the appeals process and because of everything else that is at stake here. And then also as we talk about that the country's watching closely, but it's not just the country. This resonates all around the world, even thinking about the time frame of February of 2020 and what was happening around the country at that time.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever forget this, or at least not. So this is one of those historical things. 2020 was a historical year, for a number of reasons, and not just the pandemic, which is what most people think about, but more importantly for how these police shootings, and not just police shootings, but shootings and killings of African American people, African American men, protest in the streets, civil unrest. And I think that a lot of change is beginning to come out of 2020. And by change, I mean real change. We're starting to see movement in the law, there are conversations in the legislature, about these things. And so I think it was a very important year. I don't think Ahmaud Arbery's death was in vain, because there have been a lot of changes in the law in Georgia already, all right, since this happened. But I say that, but what I don't want people to forget, and what I don't want people to move beyond, because I've handled several murder cases, is that ultimately a mother and a father lost their child. Mm-hmm. All right, a family lost a loved one, friends lost a friend. And I think that it's important not to skip over the human element of it, the base level element of it, which is this was a murder case and someone was taken away from their loved ones. And these people are going to grieve the loss of Ahmaud Arbery forever. And that's important.
Yeah, Wanda Cooper Jones talking about how that hole is never filled, but she was very impacted by the fact that hate crime legislation was finally passed in Georgia. It does not apply to this case against these three men that are convicted now of killing her son, but that it will apply in the future. And she said she was grateful for that. So an important point. And as you're talking, of course, I'm thinking about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and many others.